Tragically, nearly 35% of Texans experience domestic violence from an intimate partner or parent. Now, more than ever, they need our support. Genesis provides safety, shelter, and support for women who have experienced domestic violence in the Dallas area. Thomas J. Henry is proud to team with Genesis to help create a societal shift on how people think about domestic violence. We refuse to accept a world where women don't feel safe in their own homes.
Pickle, one last thing to do today.
Una más.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football, the leading publication for all things football in the state of Texas, and the TaxAct Texas Bowl are proud to present the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week Award presented by Kroger to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Each week, the Dave Campbell's Texas Football staff nominates 10 deserving candidates for that week's award based on the previous week's on-field performance. We then leave it to you to vote at texasfootball.com. Voting closes each Friday at noon, with the winner being announced shortly thereafter. So we won't have a show on Friday, so we'll just announce it online, but voting will still close at noon on Friday. So there you go. Your Week 13 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week nominees. Brownsville Veterans Memorial running back Brian Chavez. Holy ground strike offense. Brian Chavez runs for 429 yards and 9 touchdowns. I think they scored on every one of their possessions. Very Denton Geyer of them.
That might be more than most all the other teams in the state had on offense.
Victoria West wide receiver DeAndre Fillmore had 6 catches, 223 yards, and 5 touchdowns receiving. I think in that same game.
Mm-hmm.
Pottsboro running back Major McBride, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns rushing, 44 yards, and a touchdown through the air. Receiving, I should say. San Benito running back Fabian Garcia, 32 carries, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground for Fabian Garcia. Toller running back Peyton Brown, Snake Farm, 293 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground for Peyton Brown, just sophomore. Cuero quarterback Mason Notaro, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, 78 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground for the Gobblers. They get to play. They get to survive Thanksgiving.
The turkey jokes.
Midlothian quarterback Chad Regal went 9 of 10 for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns passing. He also ran for 188 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Longview running back Taylor Tatum, 227 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground for the Lobos. Collinsville quarterback Logan Jenkins threw for 357 yards and 7 touchdowns, plus ran for 52 yards and a score. And finally, Port Arthur Memorial quarterback Davion Wilson threw for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns passing, had 118 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing in their quadruple overtime win over Frisco Wakeland. So those are your Week 13 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week nominees. Vote early, vote often, vote now at texasfootball.com.